And now, I have the final and the biggest announcement. Everyone, this is PlayStation 3.
Does it worth to buy a PlayStation 3 almost at the dawn of 2022? For those that they don't want to spend their time watching the whole video, subscribe now to the channel and you will immediately get the answer. If you don't own already a PlayStation 3, the answer is broadly yes. Let's find out why. The story begins on Christmas Eve of 1996, when I became one of the many and happy PlayStation 1 owners, having a great time playing some of my all-time favorite video games. I remember investigating the disappearance of my team members in a weird mansion while I've been chased by undead zombies and other heinous monsters. After that, I called back into the line of duty to stop a terrorist group with only weapons my sharp mind, my stealth skills, and my mighty guillotine choke. Then, I will take a day off, blowing some steam, driving some crazy go-karts equipped with random weapons and shields, trying to survive from the constant threat of being crushed, burned, or pushed out of the track by my own sister. And of course, how can I forget one of the most awesome intro brand logo sounds ever? I can definitely say that PlayStation 1 contributed to some of my very best fond memories while playing digital games. For reasons, mainly because life, after the PlayStation 1, I never had the opportunity to buy any of its successors, not until after 2020. 2020. If I had a biological recycle bin installed in my mind, I will trash the whole year inside it, empty the bin, sanitize it with a ton of betadine mixed with isopropyl alcohol, and then purge it with a flamethrower. The good thing about 2020 was that I got the spare time to play video games. In fact, what a great opportunity to wait a few months until November of 2020 that the new PlayStation 5 will launch at the amazing price of $500, I thought back then. Considering the slow but suspicious increasable prices of computer hardware, a $500 miracle gaming console that hypothetically would compete against a $1,500 high-end gaming PC, it sounds like a super bargain worth waiting. Who could guess that a domino of worldwide events would make it impossible to buy a PlayStation 5 at MSRP price, even 1 year after its launch? Embargoes, supply shortages, the human malware, and more important, the human greediness put a stop to my wish for living again the 1996 gaming experience. So, the dilemma was, do I succumb to scalpers' greediness and pay twice the MSRP price to buy a PS5? Am I so desperate to make this kind of investment just to suppress my entertaining appetites? Is PlayStation 5 worth that much money? My honest answer is a big fat no. Double no if you count the prices of the new PlayStation 5 games. 3 times no if you decide to rent the game you want to play instead of buying them as physical media. Now you have the monthly cost of subscribing into Sony's PS Now or PS Plus services. Furthermore, even if I buy the PlayStation 5, I can't use it to play my own PlayStation and CD games, since the new console is backwards compatible with only PlayStation 4 gaming titles. Then maybe it is a good idea to buy a used PlayStation 4.
Right? Wrong.
Not with this kind of prices of $300 to $400 for a used console. And again, it can't play PlayStation 1, 2 or even PlayStation 3 gaming titles neither. So that's it? There is no other way but to break the bank and satisfy greedy people, or forget video gaming once and for all? Wait a minute, how about a PlayStation 3? Does it sound crazy? A 15 years old gaming console? How much it will cost? And does it really worth it? Let's check out the facts. In the year of 2021, a used working PS3 costs from $20 to $100, depending on the country, the market, and the extra peripherals and games might be included into the purchase. PlayStation 3 has a library of more than 2,281 titles, even though only selected PS3 models have backwards compatibility. With a simple software modification, you can play PS1 and PS2 games almost on every PlayStation 3 console, raising the number into an impressive total of 10,765 gaming titles. Same modifications provide also the ability to PS3 models to emulate retro arcade games or old console games like Sega, Atari and Nintendo brands. You can transform the console into a computer running Linux. You can use it as game development station, creating PS3 games using an older version of Unity engine. Additionally, PlayStation 3 is an awesome home entertainment machine, able to play back Blu-ray and DVD discs in 1080p format, watching content from Netflix and other streaming services, listening music through Spotify, browsing YouTube, and playing various other media files. Furthermore, PlayStation 3 is able to play back compact discs, not surprising at all since Sony is the co-developer of the above-mentioned technology. The surprising thing is that its successors, PlayStation 4 and 5, are unable to play compact discs, thus you can't run on them PlayStation 1 games through physical media. If you are interested to know more on how you can soft mod your PlayStation 3, check the links I'm giving in the description below. You can always, if you haven't done it yet, to subscribe and help the channel reach the number of 1000 subscribers. By now, you should figure out that I already have bought a fat version PlayStation 3. Taken apart, removed every molecule of dust, placed new thermal pads, made some extra holes into the chassis for extra airflow, placed everything back together, software modified it, and then I ran some video games. My first impressions are very positive by the overall status of the console. Even though it has 15 years in its back, the electronic components are in good shape. I will need some extra tools to delete the CPU and GPU units, since the former it gets over 83 degrees Celsius when I play games, and the fan it gets extremely loud. Said that, let me mention the very few but crucial reasons why you shouldn't buy a PlayStation 3. If you don't own or you don't want to spend money to buy original PS1 or PS3 gaming titles, as well as you don't want or feel confident to software modify the console, then you shouldn't buy a PlayStation 3. Second reason why you should avoid to buy a PlayStation 3, especially the fat models, is because are very loud, get overheated and are susceptible to break. If you don't have the basic skills and tools to disassemble, remove any dust or other debris from inside the console, delete the CPU and graphics units and reapplying new thermal paste and thermal pads, then you should stay away from the fat models. Instead, go for the slim 20XX or 21XX version models that they don't tend to overheat and get so loud. One more negative is PlayStation 3 has some bad compatibility with newer peripherals. For example, PlayStation 3 doesn't have audio output compatible to your computer gaming headphones or speakers. You will have to spend more on adapters in case you want to use your gaming headphones or if your HDMI monitor doesn't have internal speakers. If all the above doesn't discourage you to buy a PlayStation 3, I left in the description below the most important links to start your research on how you can modify the hardware and software of PS3 to make it cooler and super functional. I would advise to test the product before you buy it if it is possible. We are talking for an at least 10 years old hardware, so a quick test it will ensure that you pay for a console that it will power up. Do not spend more than $50 to $60. I spent $20 to buy my used PlayStation 3, and don't just buy only the console without some extra peripherals. It is mandatory to get at least one DualShock controller as well as the HDMI and power cables. Now allow me to put a stop to the story because I have to deal with my traitor captain who led my Special Tactics and Rescue Service unit into a trap. I think he is hiding like the coward he is inside that big laboratory room. I am pretty sure my old trustful Beretta with 1-2 good shots will take care of him once and for all.
Star.